Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo. It's Saturday, which means it's very much time to wind down the week with a vlog. And this vlog is most definitely going to include some The Division discussion, because it's the weekend of the Division beta. Come on, we can't not include something Division. I've got some hard mode mission gameplay for you guys. My brother and I ran through it. Now, there are two interesting moments in this entire gameplay. One of which is a bug, one of which is just a coincidence that was absolutely hilarious. I will tell you, the one involves the weapon that my brother is firing, and the other one involves a fire extinguisher. It's up to you to find them for yourselves. It's sort of a Where's Waldo for cool moments and bugs. But let's go ahead and actually start with some Division tips if you guys are going to be playing the game this weekend. And this is very much, I think, aimed at people who are starting to get in the Dark Zone, getting to the end of the beta's life cycle. You know, they played all of the available content. As this is a beta, they weren't looking to give us like 20 hours of gameplay. They were looking to have us help them test systems, servers, sort out some bugs and issues before the game goes live in just a couple months. So if you are in the Dark Zone, you're going to have to keep an eye out for people who are trying to provoke you into going rogue by, it's not abuse, they're manipulating the rogue status system and how it works. It actually works very intelligently, and if you missed me talking about it in the Dark Zone video yesterday, it requires that you put a certain amount of damage on a player before you are actually marked as rogue. This prevents you from being unnecessarily tagged as rogue for, you know, firing 1 or 2 rounds on someone accidentally in an intense firefight. Even if, you know, it could be a friend who's just not in your party, who's in the Dark Zone. Imagine if you only put 1 bullet on them, that made you rogue. That would suck. That would be the worst thing ever. The system is far more well designed. I really like what they did with it. But what that means is that someone can try and harass you. They can try and provoke you by firing 1 or 2 rounds at you and then getting you to retaliate by firing a whole magazine because you think they're a bad guy. If they don't have a rogue marker above their head and you engage them, you will turn rogue. Don't give in to that. I guarantee you, they're not looking to actually go rogue. They're looking for you to go rogue. They'll never put enough damage on you to cause any harm. Let them fire their 1 or 2 bullets. If you want to be really cocky, do a little wave and just walk away, and I guarantee you they will do the same thing. And if they do decide to engage you and they say, screw it, I'm going to go rogue, just pop a stim pack, get some cover, and take their ass to town. Claim that quick bounty. Show them what it's all about. Give them the fist of the hero. But seriously, don't let people provoke you guys. There's a lot of people in the Dark Zone who are burnt out on the content. They play too much of the beta, they're bored, they're looking for a way to entertain themselves, and realizing that they can harass people into turning themselves rogue with just a couple shots is what they're trying to do. Just walk away from it. Just really do yourself that favor and just walk away. You can mentally note that person's name, and if you ever see them rogue, make a point of hunting their butt down, but don't let them provoke you into going rogue yourself. I've noticed a lot of people feeling that they were defending themselves, and I get it, you know, you were trying to defend yourselves, but unless they make themselves rogue, 1 or 2 bullets, it's not going to harm you. You just got to think of it as like a pat on the shoulder or a slug in the side of the face. It may hurt your ego a little bit, but it's not enough to actually physically harm your character, so just let it go. Let it go. I won't start singing that. That's terrible. I actually really hate that song. I don't know why I even did that. I apologize deeply to all of you. The other thing you can do in the Dark Zone to just make sure you have a more enjoyable experience is have a friendly approach, man. You know, carry a friendly attitude, throw up a wave, throw up a salute, invite randoms into your party. You don't even need to have a microphone. You can just get them in the party, go kill some AI. That's probably one of the biggest things you can do to cement an early friendship in the Dark Zone is to help people clean up those hard-to-kill AI opponents. You do that, they're going to remember your name, and you're going to have a hell of a lot more fun in the Dark Zone. And hey, you know what? Sometimes you end up going rogue. Sometimes someone else ends up going rogue. And that's where some of the fun kicks in. Go hunt some down yourself, or try and survive as long as you can as a rogue yourself. Either way, just have a good time. Keep a positive attitude. Don't take it too seriously. You know what I mean. Obviously, you should take it seriously. It's a pretty difficult and complicated area in the map. There are definitely elements of communication that are required if you're playing with friends to heal up and eliminate some of those harder AI. But you get what I'm saying. Don't take it too seriously. Now, in terms of the beta as a whole, I would advise against burning yourself out on the beta. It's easy to do this sort of thing with a game that you're really falling in love with. And I know a lot of you guys, a lot of people out there who are skeptics or who were not skeptics, who are believers, are really into the Division now. This game's probably going to sell really well, and I hope Ubisoft supports it really well after launch. They've got some news that they've launched that we're going to talk about Monday on the Division Weekly. I think they're going to do a good job with this. I'm really looking forward to it, as a lot of you are. But just because you like the game doesn't mean you have to have it 3 days, you know, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. It's like your favorite meal. Like, I love gapow fried rice with chicken from this local Thai restaurant. It's amazing. Insane. They put cilantro on it. It's so incredibly spicy and just delicious. The rice is perfectly cooked. Throw in a Thai iced tea and I'm good to go. But if I had that every single day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 7 days a week, I'd go crazy. Number one, I'd probably have the worst heartburn and my butthole would be on fire. But that's besides the point. I'd burn myself out on it. It doesn't matter how good the dish is. Too much of it is going to burn yourself out. Too much of that same component, right? And that's the issue with the Division here. You know, it's that one variation of gapow fried rice over and over because the full game isn't here yet. You know, it's not the 3-course meal right now. It's just the entree. So get what you can out of the beta, but don't feel like you have to keep playing just because it's going to run out of time soon. Like, I get that feeling too, right? I'm like, oh, it's going to be over. One more day and I'm not going to be able to play it anymore. I got to get as much end as I can. And then you just end up hating it. You know, you end up feeling like the game was repetitive. And it's like, really, it was only repetitive because it's the beta. They didn't give you that much content and you decided to play it for 15 hours over the course of the weekend. Step away. There are other games to play. It'll be back in March. Hopefully it'll be better than it was here in the beta, and you'll be able to enjoy it all over again. And this time you'll actually be able to progress beyond level 8, and you'll actually be able to make a proper character. So don't burn yourself out on it. Do yourself a favor if you enjoy it. Don't burn yourself out on it. Let's move on and talk about avoiding negativity. This very much ties into the sort of excitement, the hype, if you will, that the community has created around Division. And I think a lot of that excitement and hype has been further cemented by people's time with the beta. That's a great thing. There's a lot of people really excited for the Division. But there's always that group of people who, they must be bored. They have to be bored. That go out of their way to tell people who are excited about the game that they're not excited about the game and that they shouldn't be excited about the game. Like, they're literally so bored. They have nothing better to do. They have nothing to enjoy themselves that they go out of their way to go somewhere to talk about a game that they don't like. Honestly, it blows my mind. It's the most ridiculous thing that people actually do that. Like, life is pretty short. The last thing I want to do is spend any of my time talking about something that I don't care about. Like, you're never going to see Tony Mo, you know, with the little FN symbol over on the Street Fighter V beta forums, like, man, this game is rubbish, yo, like, it's so garbage. I'm not even gonna play it. Like, I don't even know why I'm here, really. I just hate this game so much. I wanted you guys to know that you shouldn't even like it. Like, why do you like this? They're video games. They're not actually causing harm to anyone else. And you know what? Even if they are, what's the point in trying to explain to somebody else why they shouldn't do something? Like, you know, you're not going to go into a public, out into the public and see someone smoking on the side of the street and just be like, dude, you know, that's really bad for you. They know it's bad for them. But you know what? They enjoy it. That's their life choice. Leave it as is. You do you, right? Everybody always says on the internet, you do you. I wish people actually lived that as much as I hear people preach it. The best thing you can do, too, when you see these kinds of people, the people who are obviously so bored that they are getting enjoyment, they're finding something to do by talking negatively about something that someone else likes, is ignore them. Because maybe if we ignore enough of them, they'll become bored of that and they'll actually have to find something they enjoy. They'll actually find something creative or constructive. And then maybe they'll get so caught up in that, they'll forget about talking negatively about things they don't care about. And then the world will slowly become a better place. In a perfect world, I know, I can only dream. But seriously, don't feed into those kind of people. And honestly, don't be one of those people. I mean, come on. There has to be better things you want to do with your time. There has to be a game out there that you enjoy. Go be a part of that community. Talk about that experience. Talk about things you love. Life is too short to focus on the negatives. And that's a statement that can be carried everywhere you go. Whether it's, you know, the workplace, video games, just hanging out with your friends and family. You know, surround yourself with people who look to the positive approach, who are willing to put the negative aside. You will end up being far more successful. It's guaranteed. You'll end up having a much better mental and moral outlook on life. Things will just be better for you. I have a very select group of people in my life that I really genuinely appreciate and love and care for. Like, those are the people that I you know, chose to have in my life on a daily basis. Those are the people that I choose to spend time with in my free time because they carry that same positive outlook as I do. They're willing to look away from the negative and have a can-do attitude. The only thing that negativity ever brings is a stalemate. You know, when you focus on the negatives, you know what you end up doing? Nothing. Because the negatives always point to not doing anything. Like, hey, maybe I should start up this YouTube channel. Man, I really like watching Tony Mo's content. I feel like I have some skill in commentary. I spent a little time doing radio in college. But man, it looks like it's so difficult. I'll never go anywhere. And then you never do it. Don't be like that. Have the can-do attitude. Surround yourself with people with that positive attitude. Life will be better. And if we do that same thing when we look at video games, when we look at the community surrounding video games, just everything could improve. Like, it's so obvious, right? The path to success, the path to being happy is often so obvious, but it's the one that is most overlooked because I don't even know why. I did away with negativity a very long time ago. There's no doubt that I look at the negatives at times when I'm trying to balance or weigh a decision on something, but more often than not, they get thrown on the back burner and I just go for it. The worst thing that happens is people don't actually like it. Whatever. You fail in life. You have to fall in order to get back up, and you have to fall again in order to learn why you fell in the first place. It just works that way, right? Life's crazy. So that's enough of me preaching the whole positivity thing. But honestly, if you know someone who just has that endless negativity, talk to them about it. Sit down and just be like, dude, what's the deal, man? Like, is this how you want to live your life? Like, life's pretty short, man. Is this how you want to live it? Is this how you want to look at things? I mean, this isn't how I want to do it, and I don't think it is how you should either. And just get them to understand that, I think sometimes you just have to point things out to people. You have to be unafraid to confront someone about their attitude, and it's enough to change the way that they look at things. So let's move on with the positivity. Let's talk about February's game releases, because there's a lot of awesome stuff coming out in February. I've selected some of the games that I'm looking forward to, most of which I plan to cover on the channel. To start in beginning of February, right after day 1 of February, February 2nd, we've got the launch of the new expansion for Rainbow Six Siege, which still has no information actually confirmed by the developers behind Siege. So it's going to be cool to see what kind of a surprise it is. I imagine the leaked stuff that we saw regarding the Canadian operators is probably going to be true, but honestly, I'd be okay if it was like a switcheroo. Like if they decided, let's actually release the Canadian operators 2 fronts from now and give them the Brazilian ones. That'd be hilarious. They probably would never do anything like that because it financially and strategically wouldn't make sense, but I'd be all for it. Moving forward, probably one of the bigger launches in February, XCOM 2 on February 9th. On top of that, we've got Dying Light and Firewatch, all February 9th. And when I say Dying Light, I mean the Dying Light open world expansion that has the dune buggies and stuff. Actually looks wicked cool. I have the season pass for Dying Light, so I will definitely be giving that a go. I'm really looking forward to Firewatch. I forgot about that game. It just looks awesome, man. I love the art style. I love adventure games like that. I feel like we don't have enough of them. And the fact that it's very story-driven also excites me. Something I'm really looking forward to playing on the channel, at least even for first impressions, or maybe just a couple small Let's Plays. XCOM 2, of course, big game. I think it's like, if people ask me if I like turn-based strategy games, and I'm like, no, but I like XCOM. I really don't enjoy that many turn-based strategy games. There haven't been a lot of them out there that I've really found myself enjoying. But I have always loved XCOM, and I'm really excited for XCOM 2. I'm really excited to do some videos and some coverage for it here on the channel. And even more excited when I learned a couple weeks ago that the same developers who did the Long War mod were brought on early to make mods for XCOM 2 available at launch. How cool is that? So freaking awesome. Far Cry Primal is going to be launching on February 23rd, which I'm definitely excited for. I'm a big Far Cry guy. I know the games have always been a little bit repetitive in some of their gameplay design elements, but they're just a lot of fun. Like, they're the sort of sit down, don't care about anything, wingsuit off a cliff and kill a small badger on the side of a cliff while I'm fighting a snake. Now, Primal's aiming to be something completely different. It's more so going to be like jump off a cliff with a spear and a stone, and then have my pet wolf kill 3 guys and steal their meat and eat it raw. But that also sounds really interesting, so I'm really excited to check out Far Cry Primal. Definitely going to do a few Let's Play style episodes for that. Just check out the open world, do some free roaming, avoid some of the story content, and have a lot of fun with that. Last on my list, and this is definitely a personal thing, I will not be covering this, is Fire Emblem Fates on the 3DS. That's February 19th. Hoping to pick that up and give my girlfriend and I something to play on our 3DS, just bounce back and forth on that. Always been a big fan of the Fire Emblem games. I wasn't really into them, I didn't even know what they were, but I had a younger friend, who was into them, and I played, I don't even remember which one it was. It was, like, on the original DS, I played one, and I fell in love with it ever since. And my 3DS has been collecting dust, and so has my girlfriend, so I'm hoping that can kind of get us back into that. There's a lot more games coming out in February, I know, but those are the ones I'm stoked for. I would very much like to hear the ones that you guys are looking forward to. I imagine XCOM is going to be on just about everybody's list. But I really am looking forward to Far Cry. It's just, I don't know. I like Far Cry games. This one seems like they're doing something out of the ordinary. I think my favorite thing about that game is that they're actually doing subtitles with, like, you know, old sort of language. I don't even know what language it's focused on, but it's based on old actual languages and dialects. And then you have to read subtitles. It's all too often that we accept going to France in a game like Assassin's Creed and they speak, you know, English. Like, what's wrong with subtitles? We can't read? I would much rather have someone speaking French and just read the subtitles. So it's nice to see that game, of all games, taking that step. And I hope more games follow suit. Let me know the games you're excited for, guys. If you have any other questions or thoughts regarding the Division or anything we talked about, positivity, keep it in your head. Things will just be better. I will see you guys Monday for the Division Weekly. Have a good one.